expected that, Annie. One of my Knight's most played, and had some crazy stats on it as well. So focusing down on some of the BLG like hard engage comps and AoE. I mean, the Annie ban also kind of reduces the Wukong priority a little bit, since those are paired so heavily, and that is such a good combo itself. Jungle's still very much wide open though, of course, since they went with the Poppy in the opener.
Still a lot of different options for you there. You can look for things like the Chen Xiao, the Nocturne for Oner, both probably the best in the world on those two picks. We have the Nocturne banned away by T1 themselves, actually, as BLG look for their final ban. What are they going to put on the bench here against T1?
Yeah, I mean, Nocturne just warps so many matchups. I mean, it makes you not want to take as many like super winning side lane matchups, just because if the enemy can have Nocturne, greatly reduces a lot of the path to win through those side lanes. But the Gnar ban as well coming out against Doran here, I mean, does open up. Maybe they're going to have to go with some safe blind. The Rise definitely in priority with Cassio already being used, so...
We were talking about that in the break. We were like, well, are you going to look for things like the Talia into the Rise, or are we just going to see Rise? Camille locked straight away by T1. They want to put Keria on something that can carry, and no surprise, that is exactly what they are doing with first pick.
Yeah, I mean, especially with Shen already off the board, you know, Shen's support is used into Camille as well, and so not going to be able to have that option. People have talked a lot about solo queue Jax support getting played as an answer, but we'll wait and see if that actually ends up happening. There's no way you pick Bard into Camille. Wait, you actually do it.
Wow.
Oh, Bard into the Camille. Usually Camille is the answer to Bard because you can lock him up so easily with the ulti. So let's see it. On's like, you know what? It's fine. We'll just go Ezreal Bard here and still get my roam time.
What the Bard does give you is a Temper Fate for on top of a Hex Ultimatum.
Yeah.
Right? The Hex Ultimatum comes down. It's like Temper Fate, pause. Let us reset. Let's make sure whoever has been caught out in that Hex Ultimatum, we can then back up. We can then facilitate and support.
We've seen the Camille be so successful against it, though, so this is really throwing down the gauntlet. And you're staring down Keria, too, being the pilot of that Camille. All right, if you also lock in an Oner lease in here, I just feel like these are some giga champions for T1.
But that's always the case. Like, it's very rare you put T1 on champions they're not comfortable on. Similarly for BLG, right? It's very rare you can find something that Viper hasn't played a billion times and isn't super comfortable on. His Ezreal this split has been his most played, and he has won 7 of the 9 games he's played on it. So yes, this is really strong from T1, but there's no way in hell BLG haven't gone into this saying they're going to pick Camille. How do we answer that?
Yeah, and I mean, really it's about the style for BLG too, because they want to leave Viper on something by himself, you know, something self-sufficient down in the bot side. And he knows he's going to probably be playing into, you know, like a Mel or something like that on the bomb side to go with the Camille. So he wants the Ezreal for the range and for the safety, and still allow, for BLG, you have to allow On to get onto the map, to play with Shun and play to your solo lanes. And so, yeah, unless BLG were like, all right, we're going to do a Caitlyn lane or something like that, then they're probably going to have to play to the other side of the map. But Ambessa into Renekton as well here. I mean, the Renekton also is always, I really favor, especially early on, and been the pilot of the Renekton for the 1v1.
I mean, he did get ahead of Doran in the laning phase, but later on Doran had much more impact when it came to team fights. Spin's poke damage really didn't have the effect that he wanted. I also love this mailback from BLG. It's saying, hey, if you want this Camille to go everywhere, you don't get a safe AD carry. You don't get someone that can just do a Ziggs or do a Mel or do an Ezreal and farm from range. You're going to have someone that is a little bit more up close and personal.
Yeah, what if they've got some more technology? You know, I mean, the Ziggs and the Mel are the most common mages to get played with the Camille, but you know these guys are cooking.
Cinder is a possibility always, right? That we used to see a lot of Cinder. We also saw Swain for a little while. But
I've also been spying on a lot of the MSI Pro solo queues, and some have been playing Xerath.
Okay.
Personally, I'm not a fan of that, but you know, they're far better at executing. So let's see what the cook will be. Regardless, we are going to have to look towards the mid lane again, and with the Lissandra ban, you also have to do the Ahri ban, because the Lissandra has been Faker, you know, playing it very frequently into Ahri, and you cannot let Knight get an unanswered Ahri. If I think BLG very well aware of what they're doing here. You know, they've been out here answered to the Ahri. Knight is extremely well known for it, so they answered that there and cover this. I like this one so far, at least.
Position on that aggressive Naafiri in the jungle. 3 games on it, 100% win rate. How are T1 going to answer this bot lane threat?
Playing around with some more cook there. The Vladimir Bold, remember those days? Vladimir bottom?
I remember Garen Yumi. Okay, they could crack that out if they really wanted to, but the Lee Sin mid, Camille jungle would get instead. For now, we'll see the Galio as Peyz takes another moment. I mean,
Galio, Camille, Ambessa. Holy moly, those are some good old combos, and even Ezreal does not get away from those.
It feels Kaisa. If you want someone that can follow up, it feels Kaisa. Obviously, you could play someone that steps a little bit further back, but there we are. Peyz will go onto his Kaisa. The Galio for Faker, something that he not only has a leak skin for, but also a Riftbound card for.
Nice sellout, the double sellout.
Man,
rarely seen, I love it.
Sometimes I like, you know, stuff that I'm passionate about. I'm just talking about it here. We'll see where BLG decide to answer for this Galio. And Nivea, the current hover. Knight's only had the chance to bring it out once.
This is good into engage, counter engage. Really, really good. If you have all these people diving in onto you, honestly, I think they should continue to lock it. There we go. Knight's Swain here locked in, and it's in a really good spot for a Swain too. So many short-range champions on T1 side that are all going to be diving in. The critical part is living through the burst and then being able to have the sustained fight. But if you can do that, and especially if they can get Knight into a good position early on, get him stacking up the extra HP off of his passive, you just need some roams from On and Shun together, which is exactly what they are known for. As long as you can get the Swain through a stable setup here, could excel in all this short-range T1 champions.
I'm having a quick look over the top regions for this spring. Swain has only been played once in the mid lane, as far as I can tell. APA. It is American innovation here for Knight. Obviously, we've seen
North
Swain
American
all the years across.
mentions, I love it.
APA played it and managed to pick up a win on it. We have seen Swain mid so many times across the years, but I totally agree with you. That ability to absorb the initial punch, then turn on the demonic ascension, it's like, good luck moving away from me, especially when you get the Ryle Eyes. Everyone's slowed in that AoE. This could be huge for Knight as BLG are on the ropes and looking to even out this series at 1-on-1 for T1 in front of their home crowd in their home country. They are looking for that match point. Game 1 was a banger. I can't wait to see what Game 2 delivers.
And as far as buying that time and living the initial play, the Bard ultimate is going to be key. You mentioned this when trying to deal with the combination of the guaranteed Camille ult and Galio ult. So we'll see if BLG can even it up in this series, or if T1 are going to continue their momentum as the crowd is going crazy.
Shun looking for that early vision towards the Razorbeak camp. That is where Oner looks like he is going to start. Gets 5 gold from pinging out the ward, and a ward placed by Faker towards the Razorbeaks of Shun. That means that he will be spotted as well. So both junglers on vision, on taking the wise route towards the bottom lane. There was an ambush waiting for him in Tribush, but now Keria and Peyz will show towards the bottom side.
Okay. So with the Ezreal early here, we'll see how many Qs Viper will be able to thread through, how much damage they can poke down onto the Kaisa Camille early on, if they can gain their lane priority, if they can get that push. Because Shun here with the Raptor start was seen with the ward from T1, so they're going to have the information. Opposite starts for the jungles, and Oner will be ending up towards the bottom side to try and play off of that Camille setup.
Yeah, likely just a 3 camp into a long sword back as the Cosmic Binding still hits onto Keria, who did go in with a level 2.
Okay, On, I see you.
Doesn't land the shot. The last Swain we saw at MSI, by the way, Kobe, last year, Hongq put it out versus T1, played into Faker's Galio and won, according to what I have on the graph in front of me, but it does say Faker Galio win, so Faker's Galio could have won. I don't remember the exact series. I'm sure producers will inform me as to whether Faker won or
I feel like T1 won that.
I think so too. I'm just reading off in front of a screen, let's be honest. As Peyz takes a Mystic shot there. I don't think we expected to land. Keria already down to half HP.
Okay, Hongq did win that one.
Hongq did win. So Swain in the last 365 days at MSI in the mid lane against T1, specifically Faker's Galio 100% win rate. We'll see if Knight can live up to that.
The very specific angle. Let's see, Faker going for the recall here. Knight has the luxury to walk up and get some chunks on the turret, but we'll see later on. Bottom lane is what I'm really interested in, you know, to see about the income, especially because Viper has opted to go with the exhaust Ezreal.
Yeah.
Since we were talking about in Champs League, we're like, okay, not even an Ezreal can live this amount of dive, right? Well, he also kind of felt that way and went for the exhaust. Keria, though, on his first roam with the Camille support, scouted by the wards, with, of course, Camille and Bards. You always have to assume each team has basically 2 junglers, as the supports are in Fog of War almost as often.
Bin here, staying around, even though he knew Keria was in the area. Shun coming across as well. Keria will hookshot wall dive in, quarter the pack out from Shun. Double Darking Daggers takes Keria down to about 3/4. And Shun will be able to get the vision control in that bush.
And Peyz, you know, you kind of pay the price. The minions are pushing back towards you, so no reason for him to move up towards the Ezreal Bard, but is going to mean the pushback from BLG, and should play that well. You know, just keep track. Keria knew, even though he kind of messed around with the possibility of chasing Bin, he's like, I just saw Shun here. If we make a play, it has to be very, very fast.
Yeah.
And he did not want to overstay, so he can get back to bottom lane in time for the wave crash.
And that is important, especially with Peyz being such short range on the Kaisa. After you've used your Cathian Rain and your Void Seeker, don't really have any tools to clear out that wave. It's not something like a Caitlyn that can just poke and prod with the extra range. Bin here, a little bit overextended as Oner is looking for a gank. Doran down to 400 HP though. Bin continues to trade onto him. Bin not quite yet level 6, only has half the level to go as he flashes away from the Tempest Cripple. Tries to turn back onto Doran, slice and dice, but flash away from the T1 top. And now Oner and Doran can just pinch a movement here onto Bin. No escape for the Croc, first blood T1.
It's a team game, Medic. Doran again playing with his teammates in order to get the better of Bin. Lure him in, they get the kill. First blood into Lee Sin is also very nice for the early stages of the game. Oner on this champion can be an absolute terror. He's got his flash ready. Ooh. And Keria's back onto the map as well, so we'll see about their link up. They do have some deep vision by Raptors and the Tribush by bottom lane to work with, but Oner's got a couple camps he needs to take care of first.
Nice little never move from Knight in the mid lane, just to catch Faker as he justice punches away. CC out of that Swain can be pretty difficult to deal with later on in the game. Keria and On fighting over vision once again. Both of them have so many tools in that toolkit to escape and to get themselves out of a predicament that you don't really worry too much unless you see their health bar start to blink. And even then, they're both very good at escaping from tricky situations.
All right, here comes Oner. Finish this camps up, come over for the dragon. They have good damage on it. Faker has his ulti, so even though Faker's on a reset right now, once Galio gets back out to range of basically their tier 2 towers, he's in ult range, he could join the fight, and T1 can burn.
Actually a really nice timer call there from T1. The topside scuttle was just coming up, and Shun went across for it as the magical journey comes in. Good double cosmic binding. Peyz needs to back up his teammates. The hero's entrance coming out from Faker, but with a demonic ascension, Knight begins to go big. Faker will be able to justice punch his way out. BLG get one out of the fight, but do lose the dragon.
Good punish from On there, on the Bard. Slips right back in, the double cosmic binding, locking them up. And you trade your Swain ult for your Galio ult as he's landing, popping it really early here just to make sure there's no turn back around for T1. But BLG successfully evening up the kills.
Bin with a slice and dice and a Dominus. Doran does have the public execution. When that Dominus begins to expire, there's a possibility he'll go for the play as On is ignited and flashes away. Peyz having to block for Keria. Vision of Empire doesn't find its mark. Viper still looking for a little bit more damage here, but even with the magical journey into the corner of the pack, the movement speed, Keria flashes, tries to dash back, but Shun, with a perfect flash, knew exactly what was in Keria's mind.
Beautiful from Shun. He pops his W for the extra damage as he's going to go in. He wants the big damage for his ultimate. And then Keria thinking, okay, he doesn't have his untarget ability. I'll just turn it back around on him. But then Shun also follows that line of logic and flashes Medic. Very nicely done. You really love it. You're always predicting the next step of your opponent and trying to play off of what they know you have available.
And Shun is often overlooked as part of this team, but his early game, his ability to understand when he can make a play and when he's sacrificing too much in his own jungle is so top tier. As we see here, it was Keria and Peyz who tried to play on the front foot, and as soon as they get the poke onto Keria, On moves across the magical journey for Shun, and the dogs have been truly let out.
Yeah, so he's going to get the extra damage, and Keria knows, all right, he doesn't have his untarget ability, I'll just punish him. Yeah. But nice little game of chess here, and Shun's able to get it.
I also know if that was me, I'd be immediately ulting Peyz straight afterwards and be like, oh, that was a mistake. Diving underneath the tower. Darking Daggers coming out from Shun, forces Keria away. Oner looking for at least one of these grubs if he can find it. Faker coming down from the mid lane. Oner will get one, and that's enough for T1 for now. They'll back away. It goes 2 to BLG. No one's going to have those mites to bolster their attack on the towers.
All right, so 2 grubs to 1. Yeah, it's the extra dragon as well for T1, but the extra gold lead here, very, very slight. And we're going to have to see as the supports, the roaming has become more and more impactful. Faker's just going to slip back out, but is going to become more and more impactful, obviously, as they're getting closer and closer to their level 6s. And we really have to see if they can pull off that combo play.
Doran and Bin constantly trading. The Dominus is getting a little bit of extra damage down for Bin. Calder Meek, slice and dice, looks forward. Doesn't have the Ruthless Predator back up in time to stop Doran from fully retreating.
Keria hovering around too, but Bin knows. Oh, he's on a ward.
Does he even? I mean, you've got to be public execution.
Doran has ult, yeah.
Hexic automation not available for Keria. They'll jump onto Bin. Ruthless Predator slice and dice, and he manages to escape to the safety of his tower.
Yeah, very big Q there. Nice heal from Bin off of it. And it's still going to be costly, though. He's low health, wants to stick around for the cannon wave. Keria going to wrap around to try and punish, but look, they know this is coming. Swain also running over.
There's 4 members of T1 on the top side of the map right now. It's the next wave they're playing for. Keria, in fact, dives in before it, and with a killer instinct, Peyz will take the kill. Keria dies. Doran almost goes down as the Vision of Empire secures that gold for Knight. True Shot Barrage not going to hit, as Peyz will just get the push out on the lane. Meanwhile, Viper is getting a push of his own towards bot side.
Yeah, interesting. You know, Knight is able to snipe the kill. It's actually good. He's got a Doran's ring. It has, you know, extra stack here for the
Dark Seal.
Dark Seal, excuse me. He also has a Doran's ring.
He does, yeah. I just didn't want people tweeting at you saying Doran's ring doesn't get stacks. Apart from Doran's World's rings. Whoa.
Keria here, he wants to make the play really quick as the rotation over is coming. So Keria says, fine, I'll sacrifice myself.
Yeah.
I'm going to go in. Yes, I'm going to die, but we're going to get this kill guaranteed. And Knight as well, picking up some turret plate money here. So it is going fairly well with both the Naafiri and the Swain in good positions for BLG. These are 2 of the critical champions here for this team comp to be able to operate. You know, Knight is going to get fairly tanky and be fairly difficult as far as the big combo. His AoE is going to be really annoying, and once you get like a Rylai's 2, it could be really hard for T1 to get out of a play afterwards if they are unsuccessful in the initial start.
T1's
there it is.
One punch, so important. As you say, the Rylai's first item here. They're trying to put Bin in the trash, and they're doing it over and over again. Keria goes in. Bin with a big Calder Meek. TP out from Knight seems to be enough for T1 as Bin looks for a bit more engage. On has the Temper Fate. Faker comes across to try and help out. He's 3 on top. Shun was able to take a tower. There's the Temper Fate, lands on 2. On looking for the Cosmic Binding, gets it just in time, but the cleanse away from Peyz is enough. And the safeguard out from Oner. True Shot Barrage, flash away from the public execution from Viper. It's Fake has the judgment away, but Doran finds it with a flash repudiation. The Hound's pursuit onto Doran should be enough to secure the 1-for-1. Meanwhile, on the top side, T1 able to extract themselves from what could have been a losing fight.
I mean, yeah, BLG 3v4 on the top side, able to push them back. They're going to have top side push, and because they got the kill answer on bottom side, they get to push bottom too. So BLG pushing both sides of the map after that one. Didn't like the initial play from Doran, though, to take down Viper. He answers the flash there, goes in, but Shun was wrapping around. And so he's able to answer and push the wave in. There's only one turret plate left on that tower on bottom side. That could be first tower bonus. So BLG kind of winning on two sides of the map. The 3v4 on the top side also kind of going in their favor. Really does change the outlook on this game. Let's take another look. So this is the more exciting part of it, the bottom side of the map. And look at the mini map right now. That's where the dog is at the very beginning. Viper's trying to start this one out. He's like, all right, my jungler's coming. He flashes to the side, but then Doran says, you're not getting away, buddy.
Really nice play. And then there's no escape from the dogs at this point.
And you have to say, hey, like Viper, you got to like play a little bit more respectfully. Your jungler is on the way. He wanted to keep Doran really interested, but sometimes you keep him too interested.
I mean, yes, you can. Like Doran's like, oh, that's too killable for me right now. Yeah. The bait is too tasty, the lobster too buttery, the steak too juicy. As Doran manages to get a solo kill. Keria able to dodge to the side of the Temper Fate on using the T1 skin, and Keria just reminded of what organization he works for as it splashes on the ground in front of him. Both the supports yet to complete those World Atlases. Last game we saw them about the 14-minute mark because of how much roaming they are doing. That support quest not yet there, but it's kind of reminiscent of game one. BLG finding a good few skirmishes in the early game, getting a small lead here, minuscule, really about 100 gold or so, but across the history of T1 versus the LPL, it hasn't been as even, we can say, as T1 79-38 all time against the LPL. You think back to Dracos' famous line, it's not T1 versus, I can't remember who the line was, T1 versus the LPL, and they like those odds was the end of it. But yeah, incredible stuff from T1. They are the Chinese killers in international tournaments.
Right, LPL fans, you know, they'll like refer to Faker as the tallest mountain, the longest river, always putting a stop to their hopes and dreams. Well, not always, but frequently. Yeah. Not 100% of the time.
More often than not. I think a 66% win rate or thereabouts is pretty substantial.
Regardless, I think what you're super worried about in this game is Peyz. If you're looking at T1 right now, Peyz was a pretty tall mountain in the previous game as Keria goes in.
Nice automation onto On. On able to magical journey across, but Oner looking for the chase. Flash away by the Bard. Mystic shot from Viper is hitting, but the never move does not, and because of that, BLG will just back away from the plate. An ultimate from Keria, not too much more burnt. Faker did use TP to the top side, but he really wanted to be up here anyway to push out the wave. It's a fight over the Rift Herald for now. Only 700 gold between the two teams, and you can see first items basically complete on everyone, apart from Keria, who is a little short of that Sundered Sky.
Yeah, and Doran doing pretty well for himself. He actually wants to chase Bin because we saw in the minimap, you know, Peyz is moving down, and again, this Kaisa can follow so many plays, and if he gets paid any more, it's going to become really, really dangerous. The Kaisa with Cleanse Flash in this setup has a lot of room to operate. Oner fighting around him in mid lane as well. But they just need to keep, you know, Peyz's income steady here. And he definitely is going to be a good look for their win con with the form that he is in. Right now has been outstanding. On roaming around again.
T1 playing like they know On is going to try and get down here to make sure that Bin is safe. Keria showing on the wave, trying to hold it. On comes through. You can see Oner jumps on him, chunks him out a little bit, and then if he oversteps, Peyz can kill him while he lies in wait in the jungle. On there, of course, because the Temper Fate can do so much work towards a tower dive and stop the kill from happening. Keria tries to get away. Bin flashes in with the Dominus. Keria flashes the wall just in time. 100 health. Enough to keep him alive for now.
True Shot Barrage also not going to clean up the kill. Does not find him. He's able to walk away. Camille flash for the Renekton flash. We'll see if that becomes a problem at the next dragon fight here. Keria still has yet to complete the Sundered Sky for the Camille, so he does not have his first item Power Spike. Meanwhile, On, of course, building the much cheaper Locket of the Iron Solari is going to have some good team fight effectiveness for the shielding for his teammates with his item. And We'll see about the next couple of stages. I do like that Peyz and Keria are also both kind of shouting out the LPL with their IG duo skins on bottom side. Jackie love Kaisa skin for Peyz. I mean, it is also the best one, but they're going to focus down the dragon now too. Looks like BLG make the call. Yeah, we don't want to fight into it, so they're going to look to just keep pushing mid lane. The on ultimate also going into the dirt again.
Difficult to hit when you are looking for it from such long range. It can be easier when people have already been locked up for you, and partly, of course, the Temper Fate there for when T1 do initiate. When they go in for the fight, then you can stop time for a second, sit right there, and have On tell you how you're about to lose the team fight. As Oner comes across to try and take the Crux, manages to get a couple of them. Very even game once again, coming up towards the 18-minute mark. We've got 2 minutes on the Baron. In game one, that was a vital point of concern and consternation for these two teams. Lots of fights happened around it, as you expect. Not always in the way that you would expect.
Yeah, I was a lot more excited about the Swain mid earlier, you know, in Champ Select and in the early stages of the game. As it gets later and later, I kind of have less faith that it's going to be super impactful, even though it is like good AoE counter engage. I'm getting more and more terrified of the pop-off of the T1 Wombo combo. So we'll see.
Interesting.
Yeah, we'll
well, no, because I think I have the opposite idea about the Swain. I feel like later on in the game he gets tankier and it's harder to burst him down. And so the Swain excites me more the game goes on, the more even it is. Swain becomes stronger as Knight with the Demon Flare. He's going to jump onto Doran, he flashes away, tries to dive onto On with the public execution, but shouldn't. On a rampage now on this Naafiri.
Well, that's just a good timer for BLG. Look, they're losing nothing on the map. They send 3 members, they invest 3 members, they already had mid lane pushed, and they've got Bin pushing out bottom side. So really good window here from BLG. Yeah. Successful kill onto Doran and losing nothing in payment.
And Shun is now Voltaic Cycle Sword and Black Cleaver on this Naafiri. If he's able to avoid the initial bit of the fight with that call of the pack, he can really get some work done on some of the squishier members of T1. Looking at Peyz, I'm looking at Keria as key targets for that wolf pack. Baron up in 40 seconds, a small gold lead for BLG. As we're starting to see those second items come in, Peyz once again, after having a great game one, is ahead. 800 gold, his lead. Ginsu's and Kraken Slayer complete.
Peyz the big carry here. Let's see, on Rage Blade Spike is quite nice, but I mean, Viper has also got his Drain Force and Muramana to transform soon.
True.
Very, very shortly. So we'll see if you know, he's able to land the Mystic Shots, able to land the poke. They're the ones with the range, just like last time. They've got extra range. They want to land some poke, and T1 have all of the engage, all of these buttons that we're waiting for them to combine together with their ultis.
The way we both speak about it, there's so much anticipation, but we've been anticipating for 20 minutes. We haven't seen the Wombo combo yet. Yeah. And so we're just
teleport though,
getting to that position where we wonder whether T1 will find the engage that they really want. Faker goes in with the Justice Punch and Magical Journey to get them away, but Ben now isolated from his team, even with a TP in, the Slice and Dice won't get him out of a Hexag Ultimatum. Knight, double never move, a Demonic Ascension, and Knight, the demon of T1's nightmares. The dive in with the Hound's Pursuit. Knight flashes Keria down, a 3-man route. Nevermore, nevermore, as Knight gets the never move, and you hear the roar of the crowd.
Well, after a triple, I'm definitely more scared of Knight.
Told you.
He's able to get the Herald on bottom side too. They delete the tower, and BLG blowing open the bottom lane.
What a play from Knight. Lands the 2-man never move, lands the 3-man never move, and T1 just cannot answer.
I mean, he's fully stacked Dark Seal now. Let's take another look at it. So Bin is the target, of course. On and Shun are able to Magical Journey away, so T1 have their alone time at the beginning of the fight. But here it is, you mentioned it, you called it out, the double root and pull in. And he's able to get such a big burst of AoE. Keria is basically dead, so they know they can just follow forward. And they go for the flash, and he gets another triple pull.
On the safeguard coming in as well as Peyz tries to trade with Viper, gets the shutdown, but now Knight is just too strong for Peyz. Death's Hand reaches out and takes Peyz to the afterlife.
Golden left hand of the LPL finds another, and they're also going to take the towers afterwards. BLG destroying the map after all of these team fight victories.
And look at the explosion of gold for BLG. 1,000 gold ahead only 2 minutes ago. Now 4K in the lead. 2,000 of that sitting on Knight's shoulders, who went from just having a Rylai's to now having a Liandry's and a Seekers and a fully stacked Dark Seal.
All right, let's take a look at how it started, because we caught up with this a little late. Peyz here sees the shot onto Viper. Yeah, I mean, Viper wanted to use the exhaust, but Peyz already had the cleanse. A nice ultimate from Peyz. Yeah. I mean, this is often too why people in the past a lot pick the Kaisa into Ezreal for this exact.
The execution temper fake coming down to try and save Bin, but it's only on and Bin on this portion of the map right now, and Bin has turned into shoes. That clock is done. A Hexa ultimatum says on, die or don't.
And then they can use
goes down, and as you say, now the Baron 4-1.
Yeah, they can use his own magical journey to get to the Baron even quicker. Keria looks for Shun.
How do you get into this fight? You have no flash on the Swain. Knight will need to walk straight through the gaping maw of T1. The taunt on Shun flashes away. Faker in with the Justice Punch. The Baron resetting. Heroes Entrance to try and get Faker away. Knight beginning to step forward and Peyz in the middle of the meat grinder. Knight finds one, the second to bleed from Shun.
Knight, the king of the LPL, and they're going to be able to, okay, they can't get to the teleport in time, but they stop the Baron. They get their extra kills. And he again, like, never move, never miss also for Knight.
Just absurd. BLG going to start up the Baron immediately. Oner still in the vicinity though. His smites this tournament have been sublime.
I mean, if he steals this,
Viper's going to jump onto him on there as well. True Shot Barrage comes out. Vision from On. Cosmic Binding lands the stun. Baron down to 5k. Oner more interested in keeping himself alive than taking the Baron now as Viper dashes in once again. And that's another over to BLG. They'll secure the Baron. Keria with 2 towers there to protect him in the top lane. The BLG decide they don't want to go any further.
Beautiful snowball here from BLG, answering these plays from T1, because again, it was T1 making a side pick. They picked on Bin. They went for Bin, they killed Bin, and yet on that Baron start, BLG punished them so heavily that they're the ones with the reward. A BLG Baron and a BLG Dragon to boot.
We'll see how much they can do with this Baron. In game 1, T1 were unable to break through those tier 3s here. We see T1, 4 members invested on the top side looking to catch out Bin.
Yeah, and you know, they're going to be able to kill Bin, and they're going to take the tower for themselves. All looks great, right? You get your interaction with your Camille pick into your Bard, trap him up with the ulti, and then go to start the Baron. There's only 3 members alive of BLG. What's the worst that could happen, right? Well, Shun and Viper poking here, and let's watch as Knight approaches, because Keria is getting chunked down. Shun is getting him fairly low here, and they try and turn on him. He uses untargetability in his flash, and then look at Peyz as he gets hit, and Knight pulls him in again. Takes down the Kaisa, takes down the heart of the T1 comp, and giving hope to BLG, to the LPL. He's leading them once again, 6-0-5 on this Swain.
And now for T1, they look to their only gold lead, Doran. An Isle of Triumph in a sea of defeat in terms of those gold advantages. Knight is 3k ahead, T1 exchanging their top lane inhib for a mid lane tier 1 and a bot lane tier 2. The problem is, BLG can continue to push forward. Bin could try and stop the backs. True Shot Barrage came out from Viper to try and catch Peyz before he could finish that recall, but they do manage to do so. A very short magical journey. BLG use it to get over the wall. Oner could look for a kick flash. It doesn't go for it. Really just trying to spot out BLG as they wander back through this T1 jungle.
And Doran's still bottom lane. Okay, now he's channeling his recall, but they're just going to seed this tower for sure, waiting for Doran to finish up the recall. He's coming back. Are they going to choose their moment? Faker in the jungle on the outside, but he's being marked by Bin.
No easy entry here for Faker. Does have the flash, has the taunt, has the hero's entrance. Flashes across the board, almost available. Keria without his.
Keria and Oner trying to bait out spells from BLG. You see them dashing in and out, trying to just get a flinch from anyone on BLG. They would love, of course, to like get Swain to pop his ult and then be able to kite it back out, but Knight is not flinching. He is not hitting that button
Faker
early.
deep.
Faker now under attack.
Flash, Cosmic Binding doesn't land onto Faker, just gets a slow from the auto attack. True Shot Barrage going to go in as well as Oner, the new target, safeguards to Faker. The taunt comes out, Shun dodges it, Dragon's Rage for the kick back with the tempered fate. Locked in a T1 tomb. Faker taken out by BLG.
All right, BLG own the entire map. There's no objectives up at the moment, but they've got top inhibitor down, super minions applying the pressure already. Huge gold lead, feeling so comfortable. And we already had the Knight Classic upgrade into Medjai Soul Stealer at 14 stacks here. Now with the Arm Guard as well, he is just so safe. You hit your level 16, you are going to wreak havoc into this short-range T1 comp.
2 minutes on the next Drake would only be sole point for either of the teams, but 2 on the Baron. I have to feel that's the key target for BLG, a 7,000 gold lead for them at this 27-minute mark. The leads they managed to garner in the mid-game accelerated away from T1, and now this one punch, nowhere near as strong as it needs to be to work its way through the defenses that BLG have established.
I will say, Kaisa does a lot of punches, though.
She does. She does.
See, especially if you can build up your Rage Blade, definitely cannot ever get too calm versus
Faker,
T1.
the universal taunt as a magical journey comes in from On. BLG TPing Knight in. Faker tries to escape, but a good Cosmic Binding. The Hounds pursued on Keria, but Shun takes him out as well. BLG decisive on the top side of the map. They have super minions on their way. Doran having to recall from the bot lane to try and join up with the only 2 remaining members of his team. Bin is pushing through mid, BLG distracting, now TPing in. Bin looking for the end with the rest of BLG. Sub 30 minutes, they're trying to take out T1 and even out the score. Doran goes in, stunned up, locked up. Demonic Ascension from Knight underneath the Nexus Towers, and the Demon Flare will be another public execution. Only the execution of T1. BLG even us up as we've got a series on our hands.
Oh, Knight ascends all right. Him and Shun both popping off in this game. And BLG are back, baby. They even it up 1-1 here in Daejeon.
And in decisive manner as well, Kobe. It was not the back and forth we saw in game 1. It was punch after punch after punch, gold lead after gold lead after gold lead, never move after never move after never move. And the other people that don't move ever are the analyst desk. Guys, take it away.
We're stone golems.